All right, now we're good to go. So again, I called the meeting to order, 6:45. I did the Indigenous Solidarity Statement. Shivani has been appointed as minute keeper. I will now be going over the format of tonight's meeting. So we are going to begin with opening statements, followed by evidence presentation. There will then be an opportunity to call on witnesses. A motion will then be presented, and then council will have the opportunity to ask questions and debate. And finally, we will be concluding with a vote. If council is all right with this format, I'll accept a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve.
I second.
Motioned by Julianna, seconded by Sabrina. Are there any oppositions? If not, yes, Julianna?
I was just gonna ask if it passes, can we please put it in the chat just for reference?
Pardon me?
Can we just write the outline of the format of tonight's session in the chat just for reference for people?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that right now. Thank you.
No problem, thanks.
All right, so I'll take it as no opposition, so that motion has passed. Let me just check again. Elijah still isn't here, but he has had an opportunity to join, and he still has an opportunity to join throughout the night, so that's presented to him. I'll let the party that is present here tonight to begin with their opening statements.
Hi, Council. Michelle. I'm going to present the opening statement on behalf of myself and the 6 other executives. So thank you, councillors, all of you who showed up tonight. It's very much appreciated. This is, of course, a very important meeting. So thank you for being here. I'm going to read out our opening statement, which is going to be a bit of a broad overview, but it does have some details that we can dive into later if need be. During the May training period leading up to June 13th, Elijah and the rest of the executive team had several issues that eventually led to a collective request for his resignation due to an irreconcilable breach of trust. Before our training period, problems began to arise. Elijah single-handedly appointed an external and mobilization coordinator without consulting with the rest of the team. Knowing that we needed an external coordinator, we gave them a fair chance, though later on we found out that other students had reached out to Elijah expressing interest in running for the vacant position, but were subsequently shut down by Elijah, again without consultation with the rest of the executive team. We felt this was unfair to other students, as each student should have an equal and fair opportunity to run for empty executive positions at the CSU. This marked our first breach of trust between the team and Elijah. The May training period was filled with incidents that slowly withered the team's remaining trust in Elijah. He would exclude team members from conversations with the administration and failed to tell us what he was doing, and yet was adamant that he be made aware of all our actions within our respected portfolios. Additionally, Elijah's disregard did not end with his treatment of fellow executives, but continued with CSU staff and employees. One afternoon, when a CSU staff member was giving the rest of the executive team a training session, Elijah was seen trying to talk to another executive during the meeting, and when he was asked to stop, he told the person giving the training to leave the room. Our training was meant to be in person, yet Elijah left town to attend different work engagements, ultimately leaving the team to conduct their team building training without their general coordinator. When he returned to town, he expressed to Sean that he was frustrated with the team, intending to do the minimum workload to retain his seat as the general coordinator while committing himself to those other work engagements. Before the June regular council meeting, each executive had to send their executive reports to the CSU chair to be presented to the Council of Representatives. Elijah was the only executive who failed to submit his report to the CSU chair, which is a violation of 7.2 of the bylaws. Furthermore, during this RCM, a vote was conducted to appoint 1 executive and 1 councillor to the Board of Governors of Concordia University. After each executive said their motivations, the council conducted a vote in a secret ballot to appoint Fawaz Haloum and Nassim Boutlabi to the BOG After the vote was conducted, Elijah emailed Julianna Smith of Concordia University to appoint himself instead of Fawaz to the Board of Governors against the council's vote. When Asli emailed Julianna the next day to confirm Fawaz and Naseem as the student representatives, Julianna replied with Elijah's email, pointing out the confusion that she was faced with. Due to this confusion, no student representative was at the June Board of Governors meeting. This was the final misstep from Elijah that provoked our sending of this letter of resignation. Despite any personal conflict within the executive team, Elijah misrepresenting the Council of Representatives' decision is a clear violation of the CSU bylaws and a terrible occurrence for the student body at large. This resulted in the appointments being pushed to the September Board of Governors meeting. On June 13th, 2022, the CSU executive team sent a resignation request to Elijah, the current general coordinator of the CSU. The reasons stipulated in the letter requesting resignation are as follows: refusal to cooperate with the team during team meetings, withholding information that would otherwise be beneficial to the work done within our portfolios, obstruction of the democratic process of the CSU regarding appointments and interviewing of chairpersons and external and mobilization coordinator, dismissing and silencing people during team meetings, and openly reprimanding or calling out employees. So council, today we're asking you to support us in this decision so that we as the executive team and as council can carry out the work in supporting the students of Concordia University. Thank you. That's our opening statement.
Thank you, Harley, for your opening statements. Elijah, you now have the opportunity to present your opening statements.
Yeah, as mentioned, I'd like to call a point of order based off the bylaws that are being broken.
May you please call out which bylaws are being broken?
Yeah, just a second, I need to pull it up. Sorry, my email for some reason is taking a while to load. All right, general provisions, 10.3.2, executive coroners. Executive coroners may also be removed from office by a simple majority vote of the council representatives upon the recommendation of at least 4 members of the executive. 5 days of written notice of the proposed removal from office must be given to the Council of Representatives indicating the date, time, and place of the meeting of the Council of Representatives where the issue will be decided. The person facing removal must also receive the cause and the evidence to justify the removal from the office. So the original email was sent out by you to the Council of Representatives on July 22nd, Friday, at 6:56 p.m., which is past business days, and also in 22.3 in these bylaws and any regulations or policy of the student union, a day is defined as a business day, which excludes Saturdays, Sundays, Good Friday, Easter Monday, third Monday of the month of May. International Worker Days, May 1st, Quebec's national holiday, Canada Day, or July 2nd, and July 1st falls on a Sunday. Labor Day, Thanksgiving Day, Concordia University holidays where the university is closed, and any day starting December 20th until January 5th inclusively. These days shall not be calculated in calculating any delays under the bylaws, regulation, or policies of the student union. So you had exactly 5 days from Friday, considering it was past business hours, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday are not represented as days, business days. You've only given the council representatives 2 days warning before this day for this meeting. So that's why those are the bylaws I'd like to direct the point of order
Thank
to.
you for. Let me look into this for a moment. I originally called this meeting on July 18th, which was a Tuesday, which gave council Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and today is Wednesday, so 6 days notice. So we are not in violation of this bylaw. Do you have any other points?
The email I'm looking at says the 22nd.
No, I have July 18th as the original date, sent to all councils, sent to media, sent to councillors, executives, judicial board as well. I welcome anyone to pull it up to fact check.
Okay. I appreciate that. So.
I pulled it up and I found it. I can corroborate what you're saying. It's sent from the CSU chair to executives, councillors, judicial board chair, the Link newspaper on Monday, July 18th at 5:44 p.m. Evidence for removal of office, request for removal. Good evening, all. And then
Yeah, so thank you for corroborating that the original call out was sent on July 18th, meaning that council had 6 business days to attend and everyone was given ample amount of notice according to the bylaws. If you have any other complaints, I welcome you to make a complaint with the judicial board. Otherwise, I welcome you to continue with your opening statements.
I do have another point of order though, as well. So there's also a motion that was passed during the last impeachment trial that was never resigned, and is still in effect in regards to the established procedures when it comes to impeachment trials in the CSU. And I will pull that up if you give me.
Yeah, prior to you joining this meeting, when I called the meeting to order at 6:45, the council has also passed a motion that you can see in the chat outlining the details of this meeting, where the procedure for tonight follows as opening statements, evidence, witness, motion, question and debate, and vote, and this was passed unanimously.
Well, I understand that the motion was passed unanimously. There was another motion that wasn't resigned, so it's still in effect. Was this motion presented as an amendment to the original motion, or was it presented as a new motion for this meeting?
It's a new motion, so it overrides the previous motion that was passed, and procedures aren't in any of our standing regulations or our bylaws for impeachment.
Okay, because there's I could read it out to you because it is supposed to be in the bylaws, stipulated in the motion, so I don't know where that error occurred, but
as it currently stands, it is not in the bylaws.
Interesting. Well, I mean, the motion is in the minutes of the CSU, so like it's a responsibility of the person who takes in minutes in the executive team at that point, which was the last team, to ensure that that is in the bylaws. I'm gonna just pull up.
Yeah, you're welcome to check, but because it wasn't in the bylaws and the motion that I refer to has passed at council tonight, we will be proceeding with what has been outlined. Again, if you find that this is unfair, you are more than welcome to make a complaint with judicial board, but we will be continuing with this meeting tonight. Are you prepared to make your opening statement?
So I found the motion. It's right here, as whereas articles of impeachment have been laid against. It was the one presented by James Hanna, following the motion second by Sean Howard, and it's like whereas the article of impeachment have been laid against Christopher Kalafaditis, the general coordinator of the CSU, whereas the impeachment trial is to take place on March 1st, whereas the charges laid before council against the executive coordinator are serious, whereas the Canadian Bill of Rights 1960 Part 1, 2D, and E state
Elijah, thank you.
no
I'm
law of
aware
Canada.
of the
What?
motion that you are reading, but again, it is not in the bylaws. The motion that was passed tonight approved of the procedure that we're going to follow tonight. So I will be continuing with this meeting. Again, you can make a complaint with judicial board, but are you prepared to give your opening statements now?
Okay, so this is my statement. It's not an opening statement. Section 63 to be it resolved that Robert's Rule Section 63 be augmented by the following rules and procedures to be established for March 1st special council meeting and any meetings concerning the removal from office of CSU officers. And
Is
there's
this a motion or a statement?
this is part of it, and part of that statement, if you continue to ignore like ethical procedures, like this is very clear that it's supposed to be one way, and rushing a trial is only to ensure injustices. I don't see why we can't delay to ensure there's a fair trial based in fundamental justice. I ask you again, can you please not continue this meeting today based off the fact that these motions, these bylaws are being broken?
Thank you for your opening statements. Please give
Okay,
me.
so all right, okay, that was a question. So if you're not receiving that, then I have no choice but to resign. So thank you for.
I was going to, before you interrupted me, I was going to say,
I
please give
resign
me.
effective immediately. So thank you. Unless you decide to follow through with the ethics and what is based in fundamental justice defined by Canada and what the CSU values are, I have no better decision but to resign because this is not an ethical procedure, and I refuse to be part of an unethical procedure. And I will follow up with a statement unless you cancel the meeting.
Thank you for this. I am going to look into everything that you just mentioned, if you'll give me a few minutes. That being said, while I'm looking into this, do you still wish to resign?
What are you looking into? Sorry.
Look into the question that you proposed, the motion that you just brought up.
Sorry, it cut out for a second. Let me just try to turn this up. Say that again.
I'm going to look into the motion that you are referencing, as well as the question that you proposed. That being said, do you still wish to resign at this moment while I'm looking into this and deciding our next steps?
Decide your next steps. I'm not decide. Let me know while you look into the motion, and I will continue. My response will be based off of that. So.
Did you have another opening statement for your case prepared?
Like I said, I have this, like I realized what it takes to actually have a fair trial. This is not it. I'm not a lawyer, but I found out like these are based in the laws and values of the CSU, as well as like the rules of Canada, and this is our constitution. So I don't have a statement based off of a fair trial. So, and like you said, you've only given us 6 points to how this procedures will go down, and that's not based in like a fair and fundamentally just trial. So I will have to continue asking you to look into this to ensure that we're following the ethical procedures and the values of CSU, as mentioned before, a fundamentally just trial, as the precedent of the CSU has made it a precedent to do so in the past.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for a 5-minute recess while I look into this, please?
I motion for a 5-minute recess.
Thank you. Who was the second?
Me, Emily.
Thank you, Emily. All right, so we will reconvene in 5 minutes. Thank you, Council, for your patience and understanding. Hi, is everyone still here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I call this meeting back into order from recess. So after review of the motion passed in 2019, it states that Robert's Rules of Order be amended with these rules. As Robert's Rules is not a policy within the CSU, we can change via simple majority motion at any time. These rules have been changed at the beginning of this meeting via the new procedure that we duly voted upon. And after further review, it also states that the rules be incorporated into the standing regulations as Appendix D. It also states that these be referred to Policy Committee. The role of Policy Committee is to finalize policy changes, and unfortunately, I cannot find no allocation where Appendix D has been finalized by Policy Committee and voted into the standing regulations. Furthermore, over the past 2 years, the standing regulations have been rescinded and replaced with policy books, as I can find no mention of a policy on removal of office, nor final vote on the inclusion of these rules into any standing regulations. So I deem that there is no violation that has occurred. We can continue with the rules formally adopted in the first minutes of the meeting. That being said, Elijah, are you still prepared to give your opening statements? Is Elijah still here?
He's still on the call.
Okay, well, he has given his opening
Hi,
statements. There's
Hello.
nothing.
Sorry, hello. I was just using the bathrooms, and my stomach. I just ate some food. As previously mentioned, and I will. I'm following through with my last statement that I will be resigning effective immediately, and you will receive a follow-up email, follow-up statement with a follow-up statement in an email. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
You just left the call.
Yeah, he left the call, Michelle.
Okay, well, can I have a motion to accept CSU General Coordinator 2022-2023 Elijah Olise's resignation to council?
I motion, oh, someone else speaking? I motion for council to accept Elijah Olise's resignation as general coordinator of the CSU for the year of 2022-2023.
Thanks, Harley. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Thank you, Sarah. Is there any opposition? If there's no opposition, I take it passing with unanimously. Thank you so much, council, for joining us tonight. Oh, Amina, yes?
I have a question. What's the process now that the GC is resigned?
Sorry, what's the question?
So the question was, what is the procedure now that the general coordinator has resigned, and as per our bylaws, the next general coordinator will be decided amongst the executive team and appointed by council. Sabrina?
Yeah, what Michelle said was all true. Just to ensure everyone, immediately the tasks will be divided amongst the current executive team and taken care of, so just to ensure the smooth flow of everything.
Michelle, if I may speak, we will be communicating with council very soon, within the next couple of weeks, on what the executive committee decides amongst them, to be ratified at council at an SCM called in August.
All right, thank you. If there are no other questions or comments, may I please have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
A
May I
second.
have a second? Oh, perfect. Motion by Asli, seconded by Sabrina. Are there any oppositions? If not, I will call this meeting to an end. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, everyone. Have a great rest of your night.